Wow, stories.
My boyfriend and I had only been dating for about 2 months when we got the positive test. We have now been dating for about 9 months. He has made it clear that he never wanted kids and has been struggling with prenatal anxiety, but has made it clear that he would like to be involved in the baby's life. As two 20-something-year-olds and first-time parents, these baby showers will help us both financially to make things work the best we can. It has been a really hard pregnancy, and it is just getting more difficult to work full-time as I get further along. We had previously considered living together upon knowing the circumstances, but for financial and personal reasons, our daughter will be staying full-time with me at my parents' house, which ended up being our only option for the time being. My due date is August 1st, and his lease for his apartment with his current roommates ends on December 1st. It is important to know that he has 2 sets of parents, a stepmom and biological father that live together, and a biological mother and stepdad. My boyfriend's stepmom, let's call her Jay, is married to his biological father. They hosted a baby shower for me on June 1st. This baby shower was mostly for this side of the family, his aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, and great-grandparents. We received so many wonderful gifts, and the baby shower was lovely. Something strange happened at the end of the shower. Jay and his biological mother started hurriedly putting the gifts away in her closet. I was confused because me and my boyfriend had discussed what we were going to do with the gifts after the party, and we both agreed we would put as many gifts as possible in his car to not make it weird with his relatives, and any bigger items would go in my parents' SUV. The whole thing seemed weird to me, and the people that were still there sat in silence as they hurriedly shuffled gifts away. I felt so small and like I couldn't do anything. I was in his parents' house, surrounded by his relatives. My boyfriend said he thought that she was just moving them out of the way. When I asked him about it, this seemed weird also. Why were the gifts just not brought to the cars? Jay came up to me when she was about halfway done putting the gifts away and told me, "Don't worry, I'm just putting the gifts away so I can make returns if there are duplicates, exchanges, and thank yous on your behalf," and went back to quickly stashing away the gifts. I received no duplicates at the shower except for 2 swings. But even then, why do I not get to pick which swing I want out of the 2? This is where we both made a mistake. With us both being equally confused and tired from the festivities, we left with no gifts. His family was just as you would imagine a 22-year-old's baby shower to go, littered with comments such as, "Get ready for your life to end," or "Say goodbye to your free time." Pretty much the usual hassling that people receive from relatives regardless of age, which had just made things so much worse with his anxiety already about being a first-time dad. I found out later that she had decided that she would keep the gifts at her house without talking to me or my boyfriend. She chose to put them in her closet without even letting one of us know that's what she planned to do. I got a text from Jay about a week later telling me she had gotten everything split up between us. I just got more confused. Do they not know she will be living with me full-time? Turns out Jay didn't agree with our living situation and told my boyfriend she was scared that I would just rush off with the gifts and keep his daughter away from him. His stepmom and dad wanted to make sure he had something. After trying time and time again to explain our situation to them, and that if we were to move out together, it would be in December or later. He works full-time. He hasn't worked at his current job long enough to qualify for paternity leave, meaning I will be with her full-time on my maternity leave, night and day. He wants to see her every time he can, after work, on weekends, etc. Right now, with our combined incomes, we just can't afford to move in together. When Jay had sent her son to drop off the baby shower gifts, I immediately noticed there were 2 big-ticket items missing. A swing, I received 2, and a pack and play. I planned on returning one of the swings and buying a car seat or crib. Both gifts were about $400. After noticing this, I got really suspicious. What else did she take from us? Jay had her daughter make a detailed thank you list with every gift given, which I use as a checklist for every item given to me. The stepmom had taken and withheld about 2/3 of the gifts. Every time he tries to speak to his family about this, they give him another excuse. We were scared her family was going to run off with the gifts To where? My family's house. Or at least she will be staying full-time for the time being. We wanted to make sure you had something. It just seems like she's running off with a bunch of free stuff and abandoning you. Or my personal favorite. Why is your girlfriend being so materialistic? It's obvious she plans to leave. I've gone out of my way to build good relationships with his entire family, and it hurts to know that's what they really think of me. I think the funniest part about all of it is the fact that he specifically said he didn't want anything from the showers baby-wise, except for a car seat. It's like his family expects me to withhold the gifts from him, or like we aren't two adults that can make decisions for our own child. They're not just keeping the gifts from me, the girl their son knocked up, but they are actively breaking my trust as the mother of their unborn grandchild. Just a few examples of confiscated gifts include lactation pads, breast milk storage bags, newborn diapers. All of the ones I received were taken. Actually splitting and opening packs of onesies between us. Cards and return receipts included with the gifts. Gift cards, bottles, newborn onesies. She even took a breast pump from me. Because she was splitting things up, I feel sick knowing that she kept literal diapers from us, and items only I would ever use. Regardless of our living situation, Jay made me feel like every gift given to us was conditional, like it had to be earned or begged for until she got her way. It felt like a toddler throwing a fit that things weren't exactly the way she wanted them. I've thought through every possible reason about why someone would do what she did. Is it because Jay's daughter just found out she's pregnant? Is she keeping the gifts for her daughter? Is it about the money when she is already so well off? Is it an attempt to control us both? Or does she really think she's doing the right thing? On some level or another, I understand some random girl he knocked up won't have the same level of trust that her stepson has. But why does she get to choose what is the right thing for him to do? I understand it looks weird that she is living with me full-time for the time being. But we literally have no other choice. It's not like his parents are offering him a spare bedroom. They don't want to make solutions to the living space. They just want to control it. I can't afford anything better. It makes me feel like a horrible person already, that I can't give my daughter a better life. And all of their judgment just made me feel so much worse. I'm trying my best to make the circumstances work. I love my daughter and want her to have everything she needs to the best of my ability. At the end of the day, I just don't understand, even if she was splitting things up between us. Why were breast milk storage bags and lactation pads taken from me? Why did I not get to keep the nice onesies with the zippers, or get to pick out which swing I wanted? Why does Jay get to pick and choose what we each need for a child? Why don't I get to own the breast pump? They are literally my breasts. This entire situation has just made me feel so small. It feels like I can't do anything at all. I feel so frustrated and like this is the worst way to manipulate someone, by withholding non-conditional gifts from a literal unborn child. I have another baby shower coming up with his other side of the family. His biological mother and stepdad are hosting this one. Knowing his biological mother helped his stepmom bring the gifts into her closet and helped to withhold them from us, I am just so anxious. If they are trying to control both of our lives now, and the lives of an unborn child, what about when she's here? My entire pregnancy, they have told me horrible things such as, you need to stop taking your parents' money and sign up for government daycare. I work full-time and pay rent to my parents, or you're making it so much more difficult for each other by not moving in together. And of course, all of the usual unwanted pregnancy advice and comments about different things. Usually the first thing people ask me is whether or not I'm planning to breastfeed, even strangers. And the random belly rubs from absolute strangers are even worse. The last thing I need is comments from people I actually know. My boyfriend feels indifferent to the situation. On one hand, he understands why they did it and isn't angry. On another hand, he realizes this is them being controlling towards us and is literally telling us exactly how they will be when she is here. Regardless if it's in his best interest, he shouldn't have decisions made on his behalf by his parents as a moved-out adult without even a heads up. I do have 3 more baby showers, one with the other side of his extended family, one with my side of the family, and one with my friends/coworkers. He tells me not to worry because I have 3 more showers. But what I keep trying to tell him is, I just can't rely on those people to buy everything we need. What if we needed the extra money from returns to buy something super essential? I don't even have a crib, a car seat, a dresser, a changing table topper. Now I don't even have diapers. I cannot possibly depend on 3 or more people to spend upwards of $100 reasonably. These might be the only big gifts we receive that we could return for something else. We need more. He's told me that growing up, they made him feel like he was just there, and he didn't have a good relationship with his stepmom for a long time over how controlling he was growing up. It makes me sad that she made a little kid feel like he wasn't as valued as her biological children. Even when he became older, she did this, like paying the full amount for her biological children to go on vacations, Disney, etc. But if he wanted to go, it became conditional. He had to pay for the plane ticket if he wanted to go to California beaches, while her biological children got a full ride. I'm scared Jay is just going to do this again to my daughter, now that her biological family member is carrying a grandchild too. It's such a complicated situation, and I am so lost on what to do. Every answer makes me feel materialistic or selfish for wanting these gifts, but I wouldn't be able to afford them otherwise. Obviously, if he wanted to, the gifts from his family he is more than welcome to keep, but they were supposed to be for both of us, for our unborn child. It feels like I'm going through a divorce trying to split our assets. Why did his family have to make it so weird for me? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Okay, boyfriend needs to gather his courage. He needs to go talk to his dad. I'm assuming the stuff is at his house, and tell him he's there to pick up the stuff. Maybe it's best if he does this while his stepmom is out. Then he walks to the closet and starts collecting the stuff. If dad stops him, boyfriend needs to remind him that these are gifts that were given to his granddaughter who is about to be born. As the baby's father, your boyfriend gets to decide what happens to them. He also gets to decide who can see this baby and be involved in her life. You shouldn't be involved in this at all, though you'll probably be blamed. Comment 2. When you write the thank you notes, say, "Thank you for the lovely gift. Unfortunately, the baby will not be able to enjoy it because Jay stole it and will not return it." But I'm petty like that. You could also file a police report. Tell the police that these gifts were given to you and this person, who is neither pregnant nor someone who will be watching your child, refuses to return them. Tell your boyfriend he needs to step up and go get the gifts back because his stepmom just stole from your child. Now, for the update. Thank you for all the comments from the last post. So, a lot has happened since then. After the baby shower fiasco, things got even more complicated. My boyfriend and I had a huge argument about the gifts. He was trying to stay neutral, but I felt like he wasn't standing up for us. It was frustrating because I felt like I was fighting this battle alone. Eventually, he did talk to his stepmom, but it didn't go well. She doubled down on her stance, saying she was just trying to help and that I was being ungrateful. It was a mess. A few weeks later, we had another baby shower, this time hosted by his biological mother and stepdad. I was really anxious about it, given what had happened with Jay. Surprisingly, the shower went smoothly. We got a lot of useful items, and his biological mom seemed genuinely happy for us. But then, a few days later, I got a call from her. She said she wanted to discuss the gifts. My heart sank. I thought we were going to go through the same thing all over again. When I met with her, she told me she was worried about our living situation. She said she didn't think it was fair for my boyfriend to be left out, and that she wanted to keep some of the gifts at her house for when he had the baby. I tried to explain that our daughter would be living with me full time, and that he would see her as much as possible, but she wasn't having it. She insisted on keeping some of the bigger items, like the crib and the stroller. I was furious, but felt powerless to argue. Around this time, my boyfriend's anxiety was getting worse. He was having panic attacks and couldn't sleep. He finally went to see a therapist, which was a big step for him. The therapist suggested that his family's behavior was a big trigger for his anxiety. This was a wake-up call for him. He started to see how controlling his family was being and how it was affecting both of us. He decided to set some boundaries with them, which was a huge relief for me. But then, something unexpected happened. My boyfriend's biological father reached out to me, and he said he wanted to apologize for how his wife had handled the baby shower gifts. He admitted that they had overstepped and offered to return everything they had taken. I was shocked but grateful. We met up, and he gave me back most of the items, including the breast pump and the diapers. It felt like a small victory. However, the relief was short-lived. My boyfriend's stepmom found out about the meeting and was livid. She accused me of manipulating her husband and trying to drive a wedge between them. She even went as far as to say that I was trying to trap her stepson with the baby. It was hurtful and completely untrue. My boyfriend tried to mediate, but it only made things worse. His stepmom stopped speaking to both of us, and his dad was caught in the middle. Meanwhile, my own family was getting more involved. My mom was furious about how my boyfriend's family was treating me. She wanted to confront them, but I asked her not to. I didn't want to escalate things any further. Instead, she suggested that we focus on preparing for the baby and not let the drama consume us. It was good advice, but easier said than done. As my due date approached, I started to feel more and more stressed. I was worried about how things would be once the baby arrived. Would my boyfriend's family try to control how we raised her? Would they respect our boundaries? These questions kept me up at night. My boyfriend was supportive, but I could tell he was struggling too. He felt torn between his family and me, and it was taking a toll on him. Then, about a month before my due date, we had a breakthrough. My boyfriend's therapist suggested that we all sit down for a family meeting with a mediator. It was a daunting idea, but we decided to give it a try. The meeting was tense, but it was also productive. We were able to express our feelings and set some clear boundaries. His stepmom was resistant at first, but eventually she agreed to back off a bit. It wasn't a perfect solution, but it was a start. After the meeting, things started to improve. My boyfriend and I felt more united, and his anxiety began to lessen. We focused on getting everything ready for the baby. My family was incredibly supportive, helping us with last-minute preparations and offering emotional support. It felt like we were finally on the same page. As for my boyfriend's family, things are still a bit strained, but there's been progress. His stepmom has been more respectful of our decisions, and his dad has been more supportive. We still have our disagreements, but we're learning to navigate them better. It's not perfect, but it's manageable. Looking back, I realize how much this experience has taught us. We've learned to communicate better and to stand up for ourselves. We've also learned the importance of setting boundaries and not letting others dictate our lives. It's been a tough journey, but I feel like we're stronger because of it.